Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to review the Libtech Titty Fish. This board is available in 4 sizes, 156, 159, 160 mid-wide, 166 wide. This board features Libtech C3 camber profile, so let's call it what it is. Camber 2.0. It basically rides like traditional camber that's easier to load up. I rode this board at Arapahoe Basin on a day that had low to moderate visibility. It was puking heavy wet snow. There was between 2 and 6 inches of fresh snow depending where you went. And if it was wind deposited, it was even deeper. On the groomers you could get ice and blown off like corduroy to just chunder corduroy and even sometimes perfectly groomed corduroy. And I rode these with my K2 Thraxis boots and my K2 Indy bindings. This board is on the stiffer side, and it leans more towards the free ride category than the all mountain in my opinion. It is stiffer, and it's slightly directional, so you have a slightly softer nose, progressively stiffening up to the tail, and a little bit of torsional flex, but not a lot. I will give this board credit as being super stable, whether it was micro chatter or slamming into rutted out terrain. This board was damp and absorbed everything. It never got knocked around. You really didn't notice any foot fatigue coming in. There was next to no flap in the tip or the tail. This board just wanted to charge and be super stable. You do have to load that camber profile up to get snap, and it is a little bit more of an aggressive C3. While C3 in general is easier to load up than traditional camber, this one still takes a bit more effort. You're just going to notice that you have to set up before you pop with it. And even when you do, this board is not the snappiest. It's not one of those boards that's going to launch you to the moon. It's not one of those boards that you're going to be like, holy crap, this thing just pops like mad. But it does get the job done. When it comes to buttering, I focus more on the nose than the tail. The tail is just super stiff and you really have to fight it. It's just it just sucks, let's just be honest. It fights you, it hurts, it's not fun. Whereas the nose has that flex point right outside where the C3 ends, where you can get your weight out over it and push into it. It does take a lot of effort. You are going to muscle it, and there is going to be a lot of rebound. It is going to snap back on you. They weren't kidding when they said that this board was a stable, open speed, friendly side cut. Big, wide, swoopy turns are where you want. This thing doesn't really engage in rip deep, tight carves. It's more like deep, elongated ones where you're going from one side of the trail back to the other. It is nimble edge to edge, but it's one of those boards that you can't be super quick with adjusting your carves. It's something that takes a little more effort. You've really got to push into that camber zone and drive it off the tail. And even then, you're just swooping really out there and coming across the trail versus just getting deep and low, then popping right out, transitioning over to the next edge, getting deep and low again. Who's this board for? The old school rider that likes to charge hard. You like camber? You like charging hard? You like Jamie Lynn? Here you go. This board isn't for me. I can tell you that right now. It was a little too stiff. The side cut wasn't where I wanted it. It really reminded me of riding the older Phoenix models than any of the newer ones that have come out. It's not a bad board. It's definitely for someone that's really pushing it, charging a little bit harder, wants a damper ride, something that's a little more old school flavor. But for me, just didn't do it. Comparable boards: the Jones Ultra Mountain Twin, the Ride Commissioner, the Capita Black Snowboard of Death. This has been my review of the Libtech Titty Fish. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we've got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you'd really like to support us and you want to see us grow out our channel as well as our snowboard content and our whole snowboard network, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. It's the best way to support us. I could tell you more here, but I've got a video over there. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video. I don't know how a fish has titties, but if it does, can you milk it? That's the question I want answered.